Hi, Sandra Wilson here, and today's video is all about the fear of being alone. So, are you unhappy in your relationship but terrified of being alone? And how can you conquer this fear of being alone? And if you find yourself really struggling in your relationship, and you know after maybe a long time, a long period of careful consideration, it is absolutely not where you want to be now or in the future, what do you do? So you may have thought about leaving many times before, but, and it is a big but, you are afraid. You are afraid of being alone again. Maybe you're not accustomed to being alone. Fear of being alone can be one of the biggest barriers to your happiness and well-being in the future. My name is Sandra Wilson, and I specialise in helping women overcome their fears so that they can have better relationships in midlife and beyond, or find the confidence to leave unhappy relationships. So if you stick with me for the next few minutes, I will list 3 ways that could help you conquer your fear of being alone so it no longer keeps you trapped. So fear of being alone is not entirely irrational. Part of being a tribe or a community is a deeply ingrained need, and it relates to the integral need to survive. And we are more likely to survive with other people rather than being alone. So you may have had a negative early life experience, for example, abandonment or bereavement. Fear of being alone is normal, it is natural, and it is certainly something you should expect to feel to a certain extent. But the fear becomes a problem when you allow it to keep you trapped in this unhappy relationship, and it causes you to predict the future in a way that ramps up the fear. So, for example, you might think, I will be alone forever, or nobody else will want me, or I will die a lonely old woman with only my cats for company, or I cannot cope with loneliness. What if I never meet anyone again? This fear can be so powerful that it's what keeps you putting up with this unhappy relationship that is not working for you, unfulfilled. Maybe you're angry with yourself, with your situation, or disappointed, and ultimately very demotivated to make a change. So you could sit around just thinking to yourself, I don't want to be alone, so I may as well just put up with it and make the best of this situation. It can sometimes go hand in hand with the feeling that, well, I'm in my 40s, 50s now. What's the point? The fear can be so powerful that it can also lead to putting up with behaviour that may be toxic or unreasonable, maybe abusive behaviour, neglect, or even infidelity. Maybe you are putting up with more than you should be. So let's have a look at 3 ways that you could start to conquer this fear, this deep-rooted fear of being alone when it is so huge that it overpowers you. So number 1 is to start to recognize your strengths. Have a little think about what you have overcome in your life before. Has there ever been a time when being alone has not been a problem? So maybe you were alone for a little while before your current relationship. Perhaps you were perfectly happy. Number 2, what could go right if you left? You could be predicting a lot of things that are likely to go wrong. Again, part of that survival mechanism. But could it be possible that you will meet somebody who makes you feel happy and good about yourself, where you have greater intimacy, more joy, somebody where you'll be waking up next to them just feeling elated and so grateful that you made the change. I wonder if you could visualize making your hope greater than your fear. And finally, have you considered that perhaps it might be a good idea to be alone for a little while? Maybe you need that space. Perhaps you could consider your alone time as a gift to allow yourself to regroup, assess your feelings, get to know yourself. Overcoming fear of being alone is challenging. It's not always a straightforward case of sitting down thinking about these questions, but it doesn't need to trap you. And if you think that you might need some help, this is the work that I do a lot with women who feel trapped in unhappy relationships. And if you would like to have a little chat with me to see how I might be able to help you with this problem, help you navigate your fear, please send me a DM